Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the free legal advice show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host Ilyas Bulbulia and I'll be with you for the next hour. As our regular viewers are aware, the free legal advice show provides you, our viewers, the opportunity to call in and ask us any questions that you have on any aspect of English law. On this show, I'm able to cover a vast, diverse range of matters ranging from immigration law matters, family law matters, criminal law matters, personal injury law matters. So whatever your legal questions are, please do get in touch with us. Two ways to get in touch. Firstly, you can ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. Secondly, another very popular way of getting in touch is to send us a message on the mobile number, a WhatsApp message, a text message. So landline number, if you want to speak to me live on air with your queries, or the mobile number if you want to send us a message in. Now, we get numerous questions on immigration law, which is fantastic. Please do continue to send your questions in. But whatever your legal questions are, it doesn't have to be an immigration law question. Please do continue to get in touch or to send those questions in on that mobile number. Now, a couple of minor points. Sometimes callers call in and the matter is quite complex, or I need to look at documents before I can advise properly. Now, if it's the case that your matter is complex, or I need to look at your documents before I can advise you properly, then I'll ask you to leave your number with the control room and then I'll have a discussion with you off air. And that's a service that we provide completely free of charge. So if it's a complex matter or I need to look at your documents, then I will try and speak to you off air, have that thorough discussion with you, and that is completely free of charge and a service we provide as part of the free legal advice show. So as I've said before, two ways to get in touch. Landline number for live calls to the studio, and then the mobile number for any messages that you want to send in with your questions. Now, before we've come on, we have had already a couple of questions coming in, but we've got a caller who's been waiting for a while to come on. Let's take our first call for the day. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam. Ji bhai, thank you for calling.
Sir, I did ask last question for your other colleague on the British Muslim TV.
That's fine, no problem.
This was regarding my mother's visit visa.
I understand.
Since I'm taking benefits, I have 4 children, 2 of them British and 2 of them with us on 10 years route, family route.
I understand. Okay.
We have the second extension, but like I said, I am taking house benefits and children allowance. So my question is, because if we take a statement from my mother's side, if she, because my brother is there,
Okay.
back home Pakistan, if they give her like enough support to come here visit us,
Yeah.
or if I save some money,
Yeah.
like maybe 200 or 300 from month,
Okay.
would it be, issue for the taking the benefit, or I really don't know what
Okay.
to do.
So in terms of you or your partner, are you in employment at all, or is your partner in employment at all?
I do work full time, but my missus, she doesn't work.
Okay, that's fine. So if you're working full time, and in addition to that, you get some benefits, it's not a problem. You can still sponsor your relatives from abroad. Is it just one person that you're sponsoring, did you say?
Yeah, just my mother.
Okay. You know, the way I would do it is, so you would show your employment income, you would show your benefits as well, and then in savings, if you have approximately £2,500 in savings, which you...
2,500 in savings.
In savings, then I can't see how they can object to that. Because somebody coming from abroad, and if you're saying, look, I'll pay for their plane ticket and I'll look after them here. Plane ticket might be about £700-800. If somebody stays with you for about 2 months, food costs and extra additional costs are going to be another £200-300 if somebody stays with you for 1 or 2 months. So all in all, you're looking at costs of around £1,000, £1,200. But if you've got regular money coming in from your employment and you've got savings of £2,500, I can't see any problem with that. So I've never had any problems where somebody has sponsored a relative to come to the UK where they have some employment income and about £2,500 in savings. That's more than sufficient to sponsor one person from abroad.
So this amount wouldn't be issue for with the with the benefit department
No, no.
or
Now,
universal credit people.
No. So even if you look at universal credit, you're allowed to have savings up to £6,000.
Sorry, how much you said? 15,000.
£6,000.
6,000. All
So
right. Okay.
if you have up to £6,000, it doesn't affect your benefits at all. If you have
All right,
more than £6,000, then it can affect your benefits. So we are only talking about £2,500 in savings.
All right. Okay. That's fine. I understand.
I would do it that way. It's a more straightforward way of doing it, instead of saying, okay, look, we've got a relative in Pakistan, or India, Pakistan, whatever it is, sorry, I didn't get it. We've got relative there, and they will pay for the tickets, or they will sponsor the visit. I prefer not to do that. I prefer to say the UK sponsor has employment income, has benefits, and has £2,500 in savings. Everything will be looked after from here. That is a better way of doing it, in my view.
Oh, I understand. Okay. So it's regardless if someone, if I ask my friend to lend me some money, which would be obviously interest-free,
Sure.
Would this be acceptable or not?
Okay. Look, when you apply, they look at normally your last 3 months' bank statements. Okay. Now, if the money goes in now and your relative applies a month later, obviously it will be visible that the money has gone in now. So questions would be asked as to where the money has come from. So ideally, where you have money that has been in your account for 3 months or so, that would be ideal. What isn't ideal is cash money being deposited into a bank account very close to the sponsorship being done. If you leave it too late and the money goes in, so like first 2 months, the balance is £500, and then all of a sudden £2,000 comes in at the end, and now you've got £2,500. It doesn't look very good when the money comes in right at the end.
So if I save monthly like £500, so it may take a few months to top up or reach that level.
Personally, I think the way to do it is this: that when your salary comes in, let's say your salary comes in, try not to take money out from the bank. Use cash.
All right. Okay.
And you let your salary build up.
All right.
So you're shopping. You try and pay for shopping using cash, or you try not to pay too many things on your card, online, etc. So you let your own account build up over 2 to 3 months. Now, if you're receiving a salary of, let's say, £1,200 plus you're getting benefits of about £600-700, so you can build up your savings in about 2 months, 3 months to what's required.
All right. Okay, I understand.
That's a better way of doing it.
Okay, so in that case, if I within 2 months, if I obviously add 2,500, the Home Office wouldn't look at like he's saving money in 2 months, £2,000.
It's better to do it that way, né? And try and look. There's no exact amount here. So some people say 2,000 enough. Some people say £1,500 is enough. I am just saying, to be on the safe side, take it to 2 to 2.5K. But if you do it over 3 months, and let's say you start off with a balance of about £1,000, but at the end of your 3rd month, you've got £2,000 to £2,500. That's fine. That's fine. It's not overdrawn. The money's been there for a while. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. You won't have a problem. Even this £2,500 figure, there's nothing that says it's going to be £2,500. It's just something to me that looks quite reasonable, a respectable sum if you're sponsoring somebody. Because if you contrast that, let's say, for example, you've got only £1,000 in the bank account.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say, look, the tickets are £700. What are you going to have left? So that's why, a figure around 2 to 2.5, in my experience, has never been a problem, and it looks okay.
Okay, I understand. I fully understand now. Yeah.
All right. Okay, brilliant.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. It's very kind of you. Thank
No problem. Thank you very much for your call.
God bless you. Thank
No
you.
problem. Thank you very much.
Assalamu
Jazakallah.
alaikum.
Welcome. Salam. So that's obviously a question about visitor applications, and it's a season for doing visitor applications as far as I think immigration lawyers are concerned. I think the reason for this is we've had COVID over the pandemic over the last couple of years, and people haven't come to the UK as visitors. And then what we're finding at the moment, even in practice, is that a lot of people want to sponsor their relatives to come to the UK because relatives haven't been coming to the UK to visit for the last two years or so, and people haven't been going abroad. And now that everything's cleared and it's easier to travel, the restrictions have been lifted, more and more people are doing visitor applications. So completely understandable that more questions are coming in relation to visitor applications. Now, certainly we've had a couple of questions coming in on visitor applications as well. So I think what I will do for the benefit of our viewers who are in the process of or thinking of sponsoring relatives to come to the United Kingdom as visitors, after our short break, I'll take our viewers through what you need to do as a sponsor. How do you get your sponsorship right? And what the person who is coming from abroad, what do they need to do to make their application quite strong? So we'll split it in two sections. One is the sponsorship, which is done from here, your documents, and what the visitor does from abroad in terms of how they make their applications stronger. I can give you certain tips based on experience over the years. I think there's no right or wrong answer, but there are certain things that we can do to try and make applications stronger. There are certain reasons why applications are refused. If I highlight that may help. So we're taking a short break. Inshallah, we'll be back in the next couple of minutes and we'll go through that then. See you then. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Free Legal Advice Show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host, Ilyas Bulbulia. To speak to me live on air, please ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. And as always, popular way of getting in touch is to send us a message on the mobile number which is also there at the bottom of the screen. Got a couple of callers waiting. Let's go to our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Walaikum salam.
Ji, walaikum salam. Ji, thank you for calling. You're live on air.
Yes, I'm calling regarding a trade matter. Basically, we've had some building work done in our house, and the builder has quoted us a certain amount of money. And then when he's finally getting to finish the work, he's realised that it's going to cost him more than what he quoted.
I understand.
And so therefore he's been asking for more money, and we're not willing to give it because obviously we've got contracts with him for a certain amount.
I understand.
And he spent over a year to do the work.
I understand.
Now what it is we've been giving him deadlines. We made new contracts to try and sort out our issue with him so that he can finish off the work. He's left us in a state where we've had to be sleeping all of the family in one bedroom. In addition to that, we've had him take a long time to finish the work. He said he's going to finish it in 3 months, and it's taken just over a year.
I understand.
Now, I want to take him to court, and I don't know what the procedure is to take him to court. I know that there's a small claims court, and I know I can't take him there because the amount that I want to claim is more than £5,000.
So
what's the process in me taking him to court? How much is it going to cost me, and what would I need a solicitor to take him into court?
Okay. The small claims limit now is £10,000. Now, in terms of where you are at the moment, how much work is left that needs doing? In terms of money-wise, how much would it cost to get the work done?
Well, we had about £7,000, £10,000 left of work to do. Well, money-wise, but we had over £20,000 of work left.
Okay.
He'd been asking for advances because he said that the prices had gone up.
Okay.
So we'd been giving him them because we knew that that was a fact.
Okay.
But we realised, we came to a point where we realised that he's asking for more money and not much work was getting done.
Okay.
And that we only had a certain amount of money left to do the work. And if we'd given all of that, then he wouldn't be able to finish the work.
No, your matter is quite...
We restricted giving him that money back. And now we're stuck because and with that £10,000, he was supposed to do the internal doors, the outside rendering, the outside steps, the gutters, the fascias, a whole load of work.
Okay. No.
Obviously, it was going to cost more than £10,000.
I understand.
And because of that reason, he started to argue with us and try and find a way out of the contract, so that he wouldn't have to finish off the work, but still take the £10,000 off us.
Okay.
We weren't prepared to do that, so we sent him letters saying we're going to take you to court if you don't finish it by a certain amount of time. He didn't take any notice of these letters that we sent him, and now we want to take him into court so that he can pay us back for the work that we've tried to get finished.
So have you paid him all the money now, or is there money still left that needs paying?
There's about £7,000 left.
Okay. And in terms of, what did you agree with him in terms of when payment would be made? What did you agree?
Originally, we had a contract with him for the work to be completed for a certain amount. And we said to him, look, we're not going to pay any increases during the work. So if you're going to think that you need to spend more, let us know now. We're willing to increase the price.
Okay.
And then we said to him that during the work, we're not going to pay you anything.
Okay.
And
has he agreed? Has he agreed that the money would be paid at the end? Has he agreed that?
Yeah, he said there should be £16,000 left at the end before completion, and you don't need to pay that £16,000
until the work's done.
The work is completed.
And have you got this in writing? Have you got this in writing?
Yeah, I've got all of this in writing.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, so what you would have to do, first of all, is write to him officially and tell him that time is of the essence now. You must complete the contract within, give him a time within a month or so. So you've got to say to him specifically, the contract must now be completed by this date. You need to make...
Yeah, we've done that. We've sent him all of these letters. We went to Citizen Advisory and
they told you to do this? Yeah.
Yeah, so we've sent letters to them.
That's fine. Okay.
Saying we want the work completed by this time. If you don't complete it, we'll be taking further action.
Right.
He didn't do anything.
Right.
And then...
That's fine. I understand, right?
The letter.
Okay, so now when he doesn't complete the work, what you've got to do is you've got to get a quote for how much it's going to cost you to get the work completed, or you get the work done. So let's say you owe him £7,000 and it's going to cost you £15,000 to get the work done. So you would have paid him £7,000 anyway. So you've lost out by £8,000. So that would be your claim. So you work out what's the additional cost going to be to get the work done. Personally, my view is that if it can be kept under £10,000, keep it in the small claims court so you can do it yourself without having to go to a solicitor to do it. Now, so 10,000 is the limit. Now, one of the other things I should say is, when you claim, you can't normally claim for inconvenience, distress, stress. So you won't be able to claim for that. It's going to be the contractual loss. So in the example I gave, if you owe him 7, but the work left is 15, your claim is for £8,000. Try and keep it in the small claims court and then proceed. So get a couple of quotes, get somebody to do it, and then claim. But thank you very much for your call. Your matter is quite complex. You might just want to speak to a solicitor, have one consultation meeting before you proceed with the claim. But my view is, work out what your loss is, try and keep it in the small claims court. But thank you very much for your call. We've got a number. Thank you very much for that. We've got a number of callers waiting. I do apologise. I've had to cut you short a bit. Let's go to our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam. Sorry you've had to wait a while.
Okay, thank you very much anyway.
No problem.
Sir, my son is going to be 10 years in 30th of July, his date of birth.
I understand.
And I want to apply for the fee waiver for his British certificate, citizen certificate.
Sure.
So can I apply now for the fee waiver, or shall I have to wait until...
No, you can apply now. You can apply. You should be able to apply now in order to do it. but by the time you make the application, obviously your child would have to be 10 years old. But in principle, I can't see a problem making the fee waiver application now. You know what I will do? This is quite new, fee waivers for child.
It is a new,
For children, it's very, very new. So what I will do is, you know, when we go for the break, I will have a quick look at this. I've not had to look at it yet. I think you can apply now as long as the application, the form MN1, is completed when the child turns 10. I think it's okay. But let me do this. When we go for a break, I'll have a quick look at it. And then as soon as we come back from our break, I will give you a definitive answer. I think it's okay to apply now, but let me just check it when we go for a break. It's quite new. I don't want to take a guess.
Okay, that's fine.
Right.
Thanks very much, sir.
Thank you very much for your call. Thank you very much indeed.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. It's a new thing, a few waivers for children applying for British nationality. We'll just have a quick look and then we'll deal with it after our break. We've got another caller who's been waiting. Let's go to our next call. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
जी सर, वालेकुम सलाम। कैसे हैं सर? ठीक,
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह ठीक ठाक है। आप कैसे हो? ठीक
जी बिल्कुल सर, ठीक है सर। मुझे एक स्पोर्ट्स वीजे के लिए क्वेश्चन था
जी।
अभी स्पोर्ट्स वीजे के लिए सर इंग्लिश टेस्ट की कौन सा टेस्ट चाहिए पाकिस्तान के लिए?
पाकिस्तान से ना, सो वो जो टेस्ट करते हैं ना, वो उसका नाम होता है A1 लाइफ स्किल्स। ना पाकिस्तान में एक दो और भी वो एग्जाम्स अभी एक्सेप्टेबल है। सो डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ सर्टिफिकेट्स भी अभी पाकिस्तान से आती है, मगर जनरली जो पहले तो हर वक्त वो A1 लाइफ स्किल्स ही करते थे। वो ग्रीन कलर की एक सर्टिफिकेट आती थी। तो अभी एक दूसरी सर्टिफिकेट भी वो करते हैं। इस पर लिखा होता है इंग्लिश सर्ट, ऐसा कुछ लिखा होता है। इसमें फ़ोटो भी होता है, ये जो किया। मगर वो जो लेवल है वो A1 लाइफ स्किल्स का लेवल है। मगर अभी थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी है। 2-3 डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ एग्जाम्स वो एक्सेप्ट करते हैं एट A1 लेवल।
जी सर।
सो लेवल तो सेम ही है A1, मगर नॉर्मली पहले से ही वो करते हैं ना A1 लाइफ स्किल्स, वही कर लो। वो ब्रिटिश काउंसिल जो पाकिस्तान में होता है वहाँ वो जाते हैं एग्जाम करने के लिए, वो सेम ही एग्जाम होता है।
ठीक सर, ये स्पोर्ट्स वीजे के लिए ये टेस्ट जरूरी चाहिए?
जी, वो ज़रूरी चाहिए। 2-3 एग्जेम्पशंस है। अगर किसी की एज ओवर 65 है उसको नहीं करना पड़ता। अगर कोई काफ़ी बीमार है, मेंटली बीमार है, तो उसको भी नहीं करना पड़ता। अगर किसी के पास डिग्री की सर्टिफिकेट है तो वो भी पॉसिबली एग्जेम्प्ट होते हैं, मगर इसके अलावा तो सबको करना ही पड़ता है, करना ही पड़ता है।
ठीक है सर,
ठीक।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
नो प्रॉब्लम, जज़ाकल्लाह, थैंक यू वेरी मच आपका कॉल के लिए। थैंक यू वेरी मच इंडीड। Right, thank you very much for all those calls. We've got a number of calls coming in today, which is fantastic. We've got a number of messages coming in as well. Let's look at the next message that's coming on WhatsApp. The question is, and I haven't seen this question, so I'm going to read it out now. I was a guarantor for a friend who took out £1,000 loan 2 years ago, and I ended up paying most of the loan. I have told her to pay me back, which she says she cannot afford to do at the moment. But now it has taken so long, I want it paying back as soon as possible. What can I do? Now, it is £1,000 loan, which you've unfortunately had to pay back because you were the guarantor. This is obviously the risk with being a guarantor. Now, in the end, what it will boil down to is this. If you keep on reminding your friend about making the payment and your friend still doesn't make the payment, you would have to ultimately, if you feel this is right, ultimately issue proceedings in the small claims court. You can go online and issue a claim against your friend for the £1,000. The court fee will be in the region of about £60 or something. Hearing fee might be another £150 or something. But in the end, if she just will not pay, you will have no other option but to issue proceedings in the small claims court for that £1,000. Now, problem is, if you're successful and if she still doesn't have money, she's not working, you might only get the court to order her to pay £10 a month or something. If she's working, you're going to be able to get more money. So one is getting the judgment for £1,000. The other is getting the money, because if somebody has no money, they're not working, they have no savings, they have no assets, then you might be stuck at that stage. So you need to think about whether, if you do go down the court route, get that £1,000 judgment, will you be able to get money off this person? They will need some income, some assets, some savings for you to be able to do that. But in the end, you say, what are my options? Options really are only issuing proceedings in court. Hope that answers the question. We're taking a short break. Inshallah, we'll be back in the next couple of minutes. See you then. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the free legal advice show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host, Ilyas Bulbulia. To speak to us live on air, you can ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. Alternatively, as always, there is a mobile number there which you can send messages on and I'll be able to deal with your message. Now, we've had an interesting query about fee waivers in relation to children who are applying for nationality. Now, this is relatively new, and as I said to our viewer who called in, that I'd have a quick look at the guidance, and the guidance was actually published on the 26th of May 2022, so that was about 10 days ago. So I have to say, I've not had the chance to look at that in a lot of detail, but there is guidance there, and it's called Affordability Fee Waiver, Citizenship Registration for Individuals Under the Age of 18, published on 26th of May 2022. So it takes you through who is eligible for a fee waiver, when they will accept it, when they won't accept it. Now, I've had a quick look at the fee waiver guidance during our break. There's nothing in there which says you have to wait until you are eligible to apply for nationality before you apply for a fee waiver. So I can't see anything in there which prevents you from applying for a fee waiver a couple of months before the application is going to be submitted. Now, the thing is this is how fee waivers normally work. Once you're granted the fee waiver, it's normally valid for a certain period of time. So you're going to have to be ready to apply within 10 days of getting notification that you've been granted the fee waiver. So if you get it today, the 7th of June, normally you'd have to use it within 10 days or so of the fee waiver being granted. So obviously that means that if you've applied for the fee waiver too early, and when it's granted to you, at the time you make the nationality application, if you don't qualify, because in the example we were talking about, a child was going to turn 10, and if you get the fee waiver too early and the child has not turned 10 and you're not able to use the fee waiver code in time, obviously that's going to cause a problem. So by all means, apply for the fee waiver, but I think the thing is, you don't want to apply too early. I would say making the application, say about a month, 6 weeks before the application is due to be submitted, is roundabout okay. In terms of fee waiver applications for other applications, which we're used to dealing with, which we've had for the last few years, with that, in my experience, it normally takes the Home Office 6 weeks to look at your application. Sometimes they come back and ask for more info, but normally it does take about 6 weeks or so for them to consider the fee waiver application. And then if it's approved or rejected, they give you 10 days to get your substantive application in. So what I would say is, if you're dealing with fee waiver applications for children, try and time it in such a way that you do it no earlier than about a month to 6 weeks is the earliest I would make the fee waiver application. So once it's processed and granted, you're ready to use it. In fact, to be on the safe side, let's not put the fee waiver application in more than a month before. The reason we're a bit unclear is because this is something which is quite new. We haven't had fee waivers for child registration, child nationality applications before. This is quite new. So let's say, I think, to be on the safe side, until we know how the system's working, a month or so before the child registration application is going to be submitted, if you submit the fee waiver, you'll get the application within a month or maximum, I think, 2 months to get a decision. And then the timing will be right to submit the child's registration stroke nationality application. But hope that answers the question. But as I said, this is something which is relatively new. The guidance only came out about 10 days ago on that. But if you do want to look at the guidance, it is there on the Home Office website. Even if you Google affordability fee waiver, citizenship registration for individuals under the age of 18, version 1.0. So it's the first, obviously, guidance that's come out on the 26th of May. It's a Home Office guidance. This is what they use to deal with fee waiver applications. So let's apply, but have a look at the guidance before you do so. Okay, just before the break, I was looking at the question, and I did deal with it very quickly. The issue about somebody who is a guarantor to a loan, and the loan is for £1,000. Now, as I said, the reality is this: if somebody completely refuses to pay you, the only option you're going to have is to issue proceedings in the small claims court. The problem always with small claims court proceedings, and this also answers the question that we had before about the building dispute, where we're looking at, our viewer is looking at issuing proceedings against a builder. So similar issues. You're bringing £1,000 claim because you've been a guarantor for somebody and they've defaulted, you're out of pocket. Our previous caller was talking about a claim against a builder for probably something in the region of £5,000 to £10,000. All well and good. It sounds like you both have good claims against the person that you want to claim against. That's all well and good, all straightforward. The problem that you might encounter is when you get judgment against that person. So you've got your court judgment, the person owes you £1,000, or in the example earlier where you had the builder who's defaulted on the work who's meant to be doing it. So you've got the judgment for £7,000, £8,000. The problem then is enforcement of that judgment. So judgment is only part of your victory, so to speak. You still need to enforce the judgment, because if you're not able to enforce the judgment, it's just a piece of paper which says you've got judgment, but it doesn't get you any money. Now, how do you enforce the judgment? How do you get the money? Well, there are a couple of options that you have. I'll look at that after we've looked at the next call. Now, let's go to our next caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum.
Ji, bhai, thank you for calling.
Ji,
walaikum salam. Bhai, you're live on air.
जी,
what's your question, brother?
मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछना था
जी.
मेरी पेंडिंग एप्लीकेशन पेंडिंग हुई 10 मंथ हो गए.
जी भाई. तो भाई आपने जो एप्लीकेशन डाला था ना, वो 10 ईयर रूट वाला एप्लीकेशन है, FLRFP है?
ये वो 7 ईयर रूट वाला है, बच्चों वाला है ना. तो आपने जो फॉर्म जमा किया है वो FLRFP वाला फॉर्म है, क्या आपको याद? जी.
भाई इसमें कोई घबराने की बात नहीं है. इसमें उसका जवाब आ रहा है बिटवीन 11 to 12 months. 11 to 12 months का प्रोसेसिंग टाइम है इसमें.
अच्छा. अबाउट 10 मंथ हो गया, वेट ही कर रहे हैं. जी.
अभी मेरी एस्टिमेट से रफली आपका अबाउट 5 वीक्स बाकी है, फिर आएगा.
मोर 5 वीक
आ जाएगा. सबका ये हुआ है, जितने भी हमने केसेस किए हैं ना, तो 11 मंथ्स के बाद, बिटवीन 11 to 12 मंथ्स होम ऑफिस का कॉन्टैक्ट आया है. 11 to 12 मंथ्स. तो बिल्कुल कोई फिक्र की बात नहीं है, ये बिल्कुल नॉर्मल है, बिल्कुल नॉर्मल.
अच्छा, ये वो एप्लीकेशन है जो 7 ईयर के बच्चे होते हैं उस पर एप्लीकेशन?
हाँ जी, वो समझ गया. वो उसको FLRFP 10 ईयर रूट एप्लीकेशन ही कहते हैं. इसमें ही बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है प्रोसेसिंग टाइम में. 11 to 12 मंथ्स. बिल्कुल अभी कुछ आने वाला है, इंशाल्लाह कुछ अच्छी खबर आएगी आपके लिए.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Jazakallah. We, just for the benefit of our viewers, there is a problem with these visa applications, the 10-year route applications, the FLRFP applications. People who've been through all this will be aware. There is a huge waiting time, a significant waiting time to get a decision on these applications. We're looking at around 11 to 12 months before you will have anything back from the Home Office on these applications. So nothing to worry about. 11 to 12 months, inshallah, you will be getting something from the Home Office, and hopefully it will be positive. Right, just before we took the call, we were talking about the civil dispute where you manage to issue proceedings, you've got judgment against somebody. Now, what I was explaining was the judgment is only part of the process. The second part, and the more important part, is getting money from the person that you are claiming against. Now, imagine an extreme situation where somebody has no income, somebody has no savings, somebody has no assets. There's no way you're going to be able to get your money out from that person, because you simply will not be able to enforce it. Contrast that with a situation where somebody is in employment, somebody has a house, or they've got savings in their bank account. So they've got a lot more to lose. It's going to be easier to get money off that person. And in reality, in real life, people fall somewhere in between that. So they may be working, not earning a lot of money, have some savings, but not that much, maybe renting. So it will be possible to get money, certainly if somebody is working, certainly if somebody has a certain amount of savings. There are ways of enforcing your judgment. But in practice, if you go to a lawyer, they'll advise you that you may have a fantastic case, but always look at the second aspect of your claim. Will you be able to get your money off somebody? If you're suing a builder, a limited company who has nothing, will walk away, do you want to spend so much money getting a judgment which you can't enforce, where you can't get any money back? So your merits of your case, obviously you have to assess that. You need a strong case before you proceed. But equally important is, once you get your judgment, will you manage to get money out of that person? Or is that really going to be a piece of paper and that's it? Nothing more than that. But interesting questions today on civil disputes. So hope that answers those questions. Now, what I did say just before our last break is that I will look at visitor applications, what you can do to make your application stronger from here in terms of you being a sponsor, and also what the applicant can do from abroad. We're taking a short break. We'll be back in the next couple of minutes. We'll look at that then. See you in a bit. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the free legal advice show on British Muslim TV. I'm your host Ilyas Bulbulia. To speak to me live on air, please ring on the landline number which appears at the bottom of the screen. And as always, the mobile number's there. If you want to send us a text message with your questions, they'll come through to me live here in the studios. We've got a caller waiting, who's been waiting for a while. Let's go to our next caller. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
हाँ जी, मैंने आपको कहना था कि मेरी वाइफ का ना मैंने वीजा अप्लाई किया था 10 ईयर रूट में।
जी समझ गया जी। ओके जी
तो उसको 2 साल हो गए हैं, तो अभी तक उन्होंने मैंने जवाब नहीं दिया। लास्ट 3 मंथ्स हो गए। अभी 3 मंथ्स पहले हमको, हमारे 2 बच्चे भी हैं, मेरे पास इंडेफिनेट है। मेरे बच्चे 2 बच्चे हैं, 8 साल का लड़का है, 7 साल की लड़की है, दोनों के पास ब्रिटिश पासपोर्ट है
जी।
तो अभी हमें 3 महीने पहले उन्होंने 12 वीक हो गए हैं, 3 महीने पहले उन्होंने हमें बुलाया था जेन्युइन रिलेशनशिप
इंटरव्यू के लिए जी।
इंटरव्यू हाँ जी। तो उसको भी पूरे ये 10 तारीख को 12 वीक हो जाएंगे। तो हमने एमपी वगैरह सबसे कांटेक्ट किया है। एमपी से आज वो कहते हैं कि 21 दिन आज हुए हैं, हो सकता है 1-2 दिन में, पर वो हमको ऐसे लटका क्यों रहे हैं, मुझे समझ में नहीं आई।
असल में जो नॉर्मल जो केस होता है ना, इसमें मैंने जो पहले भी कॉलर था, मैंने कहा था कि 1 साल में जवाब आ जाता है नॉर्मली। आई थिंक ये आपने जो कहा ना कि जेन्युइननेस ऑफ द रिलेशनशिप, उसका इंटरव्यू उसने किया।
हाँ जी।
तो इससे क्या हो गया कि जो उसकी नॉर्मल प्रोसेसिंग टाइम है ना, 11 मंथ्स 12 मंथ्स, तो बिकॉज आपका केस में एडिशनल कॉम्प्लिकेशन है उसके लिहाज से कोई एडिशनल प्रॉब्लम है कि ये रिलेशनशिप जेन्युइन है या नहीं, तो इसलिए इसमें
पर सर हमारे 2 बच्चे भी हैं ना।
जी, तो वही तो पता नहीं क्यों इसने किया, किसी ने कंप्लेन की है, क्या हुआ है कोई ने?
शायद मुझे ऐसा लगता है किसी ने कंप्लेन की है।
असल में
पर
इसमें
अगर कंप्लेन भी की है सर, 2 बच्चे हैं।
जी नहीं, सही बात है, सही
दोनों, हाँ।
असल में भाई
तो
जी बिल्कुल आपकी बात सही है कि 2 बच्चे हैं, दोनों साथ में रहते हैं।
हाँ, तो अभी मेरी वाइफ काम के लिए जा रही है, तो वो कह रहे हैं कि तुम्हारा बायोमेट्रिक पिछला एक्सपायर हो गया, नया लाओ। तो अगर हम अभी उधर काउंसिल में चले जाए कि हमारे पास पैसे नहीं है, तो वो ब्रिटिश बच्चों का क्या करेंगे?
सही बात है। तो अभी जो है ना, इंटरव्यू तो हो गया, तो होपफुली जवाब आ जाना चाहिए। मुझको लगता है कि किसी ने आपके बारे में कंप्लेंट डाली है होम ऑफिस को, कुछ हुआ है, वरना ये जो रिलेशनशिप वाला इंटरव्यू है ना, अभी तक कभी नहीं हो रहा है।
वही तो सर, तीसरी एक्सटेंशन है सर, तीसरी। 9 साल मेरी शादी को हो गए हैं, तीसरी एक्सटेंशन है। हमने अभी किसी को स्पॉन्सर किया था पिछले 2 साल, तो उससे थोड़ा उसको वापस ऊपर जाने के लिए जब हमने कहा, तो उससे थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे हुआ है। तो शायद मुझे लगता है उसने कंप्लेन की है और वो भाग गया इधर से।
मुझको, मैं सच बताऊँ, ऐसा लगता है कि कंप्लेंट हुई है। मैंने जो देखा है ना कि ये जो नॉर्मली रिलेशनशिप वाला इंटरव्यूज जो आता है ना, हाफ द टाइम किसी ने कंप्लेन की होती है।
पर सर अगर कंप्लेन भी की है, पर होम ऑफिस को ये तो होगा कि इसके तो 2 बच्चे भी है।
तो आपका जो इंटरव्यू हुआ था वो ठीक हुआ था, ठीक गया था, दोनों का क्वेश्चन आंसर सब कुछ
सर
ठीक?
इंटरव्यू सर उसको डर होगा जिसका जो जेन्युइन नहीं होगा। हमारा तो खाना पीना रहना सहना काम भी हम होटल चलाते हैं दोनों साथ में।
जी माशाल्लाह जी, सब कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं था।
हमारा तो हाँ, तो सब कुछ हमारा तो A to Z। उन्होंने जो पूछा हमने तो हम तो के तैयारी वरी कुछ नहीं, हम तो ऐसे मुझे पता था कि वो हमारे बारे में ही पूछेंगे।
हाँ, वो पूछा होगा ना, आपको सब कुछ पूछा होगा ना।
तो उसमें हाँ, तो हमारे बारे में ही पूछा, तो हमने तो बताना ही था हमारे बारे में कोई पूछेगा तो।
जी जी जी।
तो सर इनका हम इनके ऊपर केस नहीं कर सकते सर, ऐसे कुछ
कर? एक प्रोसेस है इसमें। वो इसमें होता है कि प्री एक्शन प्रोटोकॉल लेटर, उस पे आप भेज सकते हैं, प्री एक्शन प्रोटोकॉल लेटर भेज सकते हैं कि हम आपको कोर्ट में ले जाएंगे, आप जवाब नहीं देंगे तो उसको
सर हम कर सकते हैं ऐसे?
कर सकते हैं, मगर आई थिंक जवाब आने वाला ही है। फिर तो कंप्लेंट भी कर सकते हैं। कंप्लेन आपने एमपी को
कंप्लेन भी मैंने होम ऑफिस के उन पे की थी 2 बार।
क्या कहा उसने?
तो दोनों बार उन्होंने यही कहा कि हम तुम्हारी कंप्लेन फॉरवर्ड नहीं कर सकते, हमारे इंटरनल चेक से कर रहे हैं, तो तुम्हारा इस एप्लीकेशन का जवाब टाइम लगता है ऐसे। फिर अभी इंटरव्यू के बाद भी अभी 12 मंथ उन्होंने 12 वीक्स कहते हैं वो लोग, तो 12 वीक्स हो गए हैं ऑलरेडी। 10 तारीख को 12 वीक पूरे हो जाएंगे।
जी जी जी, समझ गया। तो आप ऐसे करो ना, आप कंप्लेंट भी डाल दो 12 हफ्ते के बाद, एमपी को भी दोबारा कहो कि उसको कांटेक्ट करो, और अगर 1-2 महीने में कोई जवाब नहीं आए तो फिर वो प्री एक्शन प्रोटोकॉल लेटर वाले भी भेज दो, डालते रहो ना।
सर बच्चे भी हॉलीडे पे नहीं गए हैं 2 साल से।
नहीं, सही बात, सही है। 2 years तो लॉन्ग टाइम है ना, लॉन्ग टाइम है। और असल में आपने जो कहा ना, बात सही है कि काम के लिए जाते हैं तो वो कहते हैं कि कार्ड लाओ।
हाँ, काम के लिए वो अभी वो काम भी नहीं कर सकती। तो हमारी फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन तो ठीक है, तो अगर हमारी फाइनेंशियल कंडीशन सही ना हो तो क्या वो बच्चों को क्या वो करेंगे, क्या हम उनसे क्या ब्रिटिश नेशनलिटी वापस ले लेंगे?
नहीं, प्रॉब्लम होता है ना जी, प्रॉब्लम होता है इसमें। मगर चलो, अच्छी बात है कि आपका सिचुएशन ठीक है। मगर आपने जो बताया ना, उससे तो ऑब्वियसली आपको भी पता है कि ये तो वीज़ा मिलने वाली ही है।
सर ऐसा भी तो नहीं कि मेरी ILR में कंप्लेन की हो या कुछ?
नहीं, आप वो ILR की इंटरव्यू नहीं थी ना, वो रिलेशनशिप की इंटरव्यू थी, वो डिफरेंट है ना, वो तो रिलेशनशिप की इंटरव्यू है।
रिलेशनशिप की इंटरव्यू हमको आई थी,
वो बिल्कुल डिफरेंट है। ILR के अगर कंप्लेंट होती तो उसको तो फिर डिफरेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन करना पड़ता है कि कैसा।
अच्छा सर, अगर आपसे ऑफिस में मिलना हो, क्योंकि मैंने भी अभी नेचुरल सिटीजनशिप लेनी है।
जी ठीक है, नो प्रॉब्लम। आप कहाँ रहते हैं? आप यॉर्कशायर में हैं या दूर है यहाँ से?
मैं लंदन में रहता हूँ सर।
अगर असल प्रॉब्लम, हमारी ऑफिस है ना वो लीड्स के पास है, लीड्स वेकफील्ड, काफ़ी दूर है आपसे। मगर आप मुझको अगर कुछ मशवरा लेना चाहते हैं तो मेरा नंबर पे फ़ोन कर सकते हैं। मेरा जो नाम है ना वहाँ लिखा है, आप गूगल में डालेंगे तो मेरा एड्रेस आ जाएगा, मेरा टेलीफोन नंबर भी आ जाएगा। सो अगर
ठीक है जी, मैं आपसे
आप गूगल में डालेंगे ना मेरा नाम, तो कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स मेरा आ जाएगा। और आप कोई बात नहीं, आप मुझसे मशवरा ले सकते हैं, बिल्कुल कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है ऐसी कोई।
मैं ये 10 तारीख तक वेट करता हूँ, क्योंकि आज एमपी ने भी कहा है कि 1-2 दिन मुझे और दो।
जी जी ठीक है। तो आप अगर मुझको फ़ोन पे कांटेक्ट करें ना, तो फिर वो हमको बता देना कि आप हमारी बात हुई थी वो चैनल पे, तो मुझको याद रहेगा।
ठीक है सर, मैं आपको कल या परसों में फ़ोन कर
कोई
दूँ।
बात नहीं, वो मशवरा देने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, आपसे फ़ोन से बात करना।
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर।
चलो ठीक है, ओके
Thank you.
ओके, चलो अल्लाह हाफिज़। Had a couple of calls today on delay. Now, the problem is this, and this last caller was talking about his application for, or his wife's application for leave to remain based on him and his family in the UK has been outstanding for 2 years. Slight complication with his application was that the Home Office had concerns about the genuineness of the relationship. That's what's caused the delay. Sometimes you are stuck in terms of what you can do. You can go to your MP, complain, or threaten to go to court, but really your options are limited, unfortunately. Okay, got another caller who's been waiting for a while. Let's go to our next caller. Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you, brother? You okay?
I'm good. I'm fine.
Ji, brother, what's your question? Brother, you're live on air.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
वालेकुम सलाम। जी जी।
एक्चुअली मुझे इंग्लैंड में रहते हुए 17 साल हो गए।
17 साल, जी, ओके।
तो
जी
जी जी
जी,
मुझे इंग्लैंड में रहते हुए 17 साल हो गए। तो मैं ये कह रहा था कि मैं अप्लाई कर सकता हूँ।
जी,
मतलब
आप अभी आप सिंगल है, बच्चे है, क्या सिचुएशन है आपका?
मैं ओवरस्टे लिस्ट हूँ।
ओवरस्टे पे है, मगर आप फैमिली के साथ यहाँ है या अकेले है यहाँ?
नहीं, मैं फैमिली के साथ नहीं हूँ।
अकेले है जी,
सिंगल।
जी ठीक है,
सिंगल।
जी। तो इसमें क्या है कि 17 ईयर्स के बाद अगर अप्लाई करेंगे ना, तो वो एप्लीकेशन तो वैसे वो रिफ्यूज़ करेंगे, क्योंकि उसका रूल तो वही है, 20 साल वाला रूल है। जो सिंगल है उसको 20 साल के बाद वो देते हैं वीज़ा। मगर अगर ये है कि आपका 17 साल यहाँ हो गया और ये लोग आपको रिपोर्टिंग पे बुला रहे हैं और आपको डर है कि आपको वापस भेज देंगे, और तो फिर वो सिचुएशन में ठीक है कि आप कोई एप्लीकेशन डाल देते हैं। 1 साल लगता है एप्लीकेशन डिसाइड होने में, तो वो टाइम पे आप थोड़े से प्रोटेक्टेड होते हैं, सेफ होते हैं। मगर जो एप्लीकेशन का जो करेक्ट टाइम है ना, वो जब आपके 20 साल कंप्लीट होता है, वो टाइम पे आपको वीज़ा मिल सकती है। इससे पहले अगर आपको कोई डेंजर लगता है, कोई प्रॉब्लम लगता है कि हो सकता है कि आपको वो बिठा देंगे,
नहीं वो जो आप कह रहे हैं मैं
जी भाई, सॉरी, आप क्या कह रहे थे?
मैं ये कह रहा था कि मुझे ये होता है कि मैं इतना 17 साल मैंने यहाँ काट लिए हैं, तो ये कोई हैप ना हो जाए, तो मैं मतलब कोई मेरे लिए मसला ना बन जाए, कभी काम पे या किसी तरह हो जाता है प्रॉब्लम, तो मैं केस डाल दूँ तो मैं सेफ हो सकता हूँ ना
जी
इन केस।
लुक, होम ऑफिस के पास आपकी पासपोर्ट कुछ है?
नहीं मेरे पास है, होम ऑफिस के पास कुछ भी नहीं है।
ओके, लुक, आई थिंक लुक, अभी अगर होम ऑफिस आपको कुछ पूछ नहीं रहे हैं, कुछ कह नहीं रहे हैं, तो रहने दो अभी, 1 साल के बाद डालो।
जी ठीक।
क्योंकि अभी डाल दिया ने, 1 साल के बाद रिफ्यूज़ल आ गया, फिर आप क्या करेंगे? फिर दोबारा स्टक हो जाएंगे। तो इससे बेहतर तो ये है कि अभी आपका 20 साल नहीं हुआ है, आप थोड़ा सा वेट करो।
लेकिन उसमें मेरा ये बेनिफिट नहीं है कि मैं अगर केस डाल दूंगा तो मेरे लिए कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी, मतलब केस पड़ा रहे, मैं बेशक मुझे 20 साल होंगे तो देंगे।
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है ना, वो एक केस 1 साल में वो जवाब दे देते हैं ना आपको।
अच्छा,
सो फिर आपका 18 ईयर्स होगा ना, फिर भी 2 साल बाकी है ना आपके।
जी।
तो फिर दोबारा डालना पड़ेगा आपको केस।
अच्छा,
तो फिर दोबारा पैसे देने पड़ेंगे होम ऑफिस को।
जी।
ये सिर्फ प्रॉब्लम है। आप केस तो डाल सकते हैं, मगर जब ना कहेंगे 1 साल के बाद, तो फिर दोबारा डालेंगे, आपका 18 ईयर्स होगा, फिर क्या करेंगे कि 19 होगा, तो फिर तीसरी बार डालना पड़ेगा, तो फिर डालते रहना पड़ेगा। सो अगर आपको कोई ज़रूरी नहीं है अभी डालने की, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, तो रहने दो, 1 साल के बाद डालो।
मतलब जी ठीक है,
ठीक है ना
आप
भाई?
एडवाइस करें कि अभी ना डालें जी।
नहीं भी रहने दो। वो पर्सनली माय व्यू इज के अगर होम ऑफिस आपको कुछ कह नहीं रहे हैं तो रहने दो,
जी जी,
फिर बाद में डालो। रफली
थैंक यू वेरी मच।
18 ईयर्स हो गया, इसके बाद ट्राई करो जी। जी भाई, थैंक यू वेरी मच आपके कॉल के लिए, थैंक यू वेरी मच इंडीड। सो दैट वाज अ कॉल रिगार्डिंग somebody who's overstayed in the United Kingdom, a single person, overstayed for 17 years. What do you do? When do you apply? Problem is, the Home Office rule is quite clear. A single person, so without partner and children, has to have overstayed, or has to have lived in the UK for 20 years. An overstayer has to have lived in the UK for 20 years before they will grant leave to remain. If you apply after you've lived in the UK for 17 years, 18 years, the application will be refused. Personally, my view is, if you haven't completed your 20 years, I personally wouldn't submit an application unless there's a real reason why you need to do it. You might be better off just waiting a little longer, getting closer to the 20-year mark before you apply. But thank you very much for that question and all the other questions that we've had today. MashaAllah, we've had a busy show today. We'll be back next week at the same time. Until then, Assalamu alaikum